Word Funk. I am Leon Thomas. I am joined by Austin Yorsky and Johnny Maloney.
Someone sent me a direct message on Twitter. Let me see if I can find it.
It wasn't me. I didn't do it.
No.
Yeah, here it is. What do you use for audio editing? As I can hear a distinct difference in the Word Funk audio versus Dice Funk. We both use the same editing program. We do not use the same recording program.
Right. We've explained this many times that we are recording these differently and why.
People miss some episodes. It's not like
we've
is
multiple times on both shows.
You know, I just figured this out a couple days ago. I was going on a walk and I was thinking to myself about how combative Leon has been recently, like how just rude. And then I realized why. I think he's negging us. I think Leon is negging us and our listeners, like to undermine our confidence and self-esteem so that he can pick us up.
I don't know. He did comment on a Facebook photo of mine very recently. It was like, "Stop being so sexy," and I'm like, "You're not the boss of me."
Well, Johnny, it's because you are really sexy in that picture.
You see, I know that, and this is the thing: is that it's kind of like,
girl, I know. I don't need your approval.
No, it doesn't sit with your theories there, Austin.
No, because he already undermined you, and now he's going in for it's like a 1-2 punch, right?
You know what it is, Austin. You might get to this point in your internet web series hosting career where I am right now. And,
you mean popular?
Yeah, basically. No, not that. Not that at all. You don't have to be popular to get to what I'm about to talk about right now, and that is how do I put this? At some point, after you've done your show for so long, people will ask you the same questions over and over and over again, and even if you frequently answer them the exact same way and create a frequently asked questions file and say it over and over again on social media, various social media platforms, in the comments of your videos, constantly, no matter what, people will ask the same 4 or 5 questions over and over and over again for years. And
Are you sure it's not just that you're getting older and therefore grumpier?
It's that's a possibility too, but I want you to know that the reason that I went this question again is because this question again is a thing I have to say 6 or 7 times a day. And look, I genuinely do appreciate my fans because you're basically paying for my electricity bill every month. You're
welcome.
I genuinely yeah, no, I know. Johnny is one of my patrons, oddly enough. I really do love my fans. I think they're all amazing. Renegade Cut is like a mom and pop store. It's that size of a small business for me. And you can love the customers who come into your mom and pop store because they have similar interests that you have, and they're 99% of them are just wonderful people. But 1% of them, will come in and break your teacups or something in the store, and that's how I feel about my audience. They're all really great. It's just there's just a few, and the answer to all the questions are just Google it, or because YouTube. That's the answer to a lot of questions. All my biggest questions are constantly, where is this episode and why isn't it up? Because YouTube. Why isn't this up? Because YouTube. Do you have a copyright strike? Yeah, because YouTube. The answer is always the exact same thing for so many of my questions, and I say them all the time in the YouTube comments. So I really do love my fans. I genuinely do. You're all great. You're my customers. So I love my customers. I just don't like the kid who comes into the store and thrashes around and knocks things over. That's all, and I think that's fair.
So if you really want Leon's attention, everybody, just pay him money and he'll call you sexy.
Yeah, look.
That's the service he provides.
What I'm trying to say is, Austin, the reason I feel combative about these constant questions is because it basically at some point when you do this for as long as I have, on the level I have, it becomes a kind of Groundhog's Day, where and that sounds really cool at first, but then.
Hey Leon, what's your favorite movie? Hey
Right.
Leon.
That's not even a bad question to ask me what my favorite movie is. Even though,
Hey, Leon, have
Hold
you
on,
ever
hold
thought
on.
about doing the Twilight movies?
even though,
Hey Leon, where's Heart of Gaming?
and those are some of the questions. And here's the thing about my favorite movie: not only have I answered that question in video form, but I also have a Letterboxd account that details what I have and have not seen over the course of my life. So no one should ever have to ask me whether or not I've seen something and whether or not I liked it.
But
But
people aren't on everything. Like I don't have a Facebook, so if you say some shit on Facebook, I'm not gonna see it.
I understand that.
Hey, Leon, have
But
you
I-
seen my Letterboxd account?
You've never shared it with me.
He's just checked the box that says all. He's seen them all.
You've never shared it with me. But
That's because I don't actually have one.
There you go. But I actually mention the fact that I have this account on social media several times a month. Just so people will go there so they won't have to say, hey, have you ever seen Blade Runner? And I'd be like, yeah, it's my favorite movie. And you know it is because it says so there.
Hey, Austin. I think this is like how Hideki Kamiya must have started.
I was actually just thinking because there's some stuff I want to talk about later that kind of wraps around to this, but social media has magnified celebrity to an extent that I'm surprised any famous people are saying.
The thing
It's magnified celebrity to the extent where some people actually think that I'm a celebrity.
and again, I know I'm not a celebrity either.
There's
There's
a huge problem with that. I mean, Leon, you do things. You have like, a presentation that you do at like at least, reasonably. I fuck around on the internet. Like that's quite literally what I do. I fuck around on the internet and people are like, "Hey, that guy fucks around on the internet pretty good."
And I want to mention this because I know I sound like, oh, you're complaining that you have fans. No, I'm not complaining that I have fans. I love my fans. In fact, I think I have cultivated a very intelligent fan base over the years, and
also sexy.
And also sexy. But there's these like outlier fans who just don't want to do a Google search to find out the answer and keep asking me, "Hey, can you do this movie?" And I always say the exact same thing. In fact, I've said the exact same thing in response to people requesting me to do movies through my YouTube comments. That my phone, that I only have to click my phone like 6 times because my phone instantly knows what I'm about to say.
You have like a macro set up.
No, I didn't even need to do it.
So everybody, TLDR, you can't just like wander into Leon season 7 and be like, man, wouldn't it be really great if like we did this storyline because Leon did that in season 2. So what you got to do is get your ass to the Wikipedia page or like, get yourself on Netflix and start way back at season 1 and just be like, get that Leon canon that you love so much.
I'm sympathetic.
That hard Leon canon that just shoots.
As soon as I type the letters RE, my phone says request, and then I click requests can only go through Patreon. Period. Link is in the description. Period. I only have to keep clicking my thumb on the middle thing because my phone knows what's up.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Just out of curiosity, I'm gonna spell it. It's the first 2 letters, RE.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm just gonna see what my phone comes up with.
Okay. This will be fun.
I don't know. I'm sympathetic to you, Leon. I'm sure that's super annoying, but as someone who like is on the internet as well, I don't have time to research everybody I want to talk to. So sometimes you just kind of go in blind, and it's no one means anything by it.
No, I'm not angry with them.
That's really terrible.
I'm not angry with them because they don't. They're probably just stumbling into my little corner of the internet and not knowing that I've been doing this for years and have answered these questions several times a day. It's just I feel like how do I put this? when I want to know something about David Lynch, for example, I Google it. I don't tweet him. I don't direct message him on Twitter because I bet I can find out just as much without having to do that. Is what
Somewhere David Lynch is looking sadly at his phone and like, why doesn't Leon text anymore? What did I do? How can I make this right?
Do you guys want to hear what my phone comes up with just like auto predict out of like nowhere with just those 2 letters, R-E?
Oh my God. Okay. I'm sorry. No, Johnny, go ahead. I have something else to say, but please finish your thought.
Okay, all right.
Let me guess. Really nice butts.
No. It gets way darker than that.
Red
tube?
It starts.
How is
it
that
starts
darker?
and it
That's
goes.
just porn.
No, hang on. It starts and it goes. Really. I mean, I am a beautiful person.
Hold on, I have to turn my phone on to check this now.
Hang on, and then I'm like, I shit you not. All it does is just spell out the sentence. I have a complicated relationship. I have a complicated relationship. I have a complicated relationship. I have a complicated... Like, that's it. It just gets locked in the loop of, I have a complicated relationship.
Oh, Johnny. What? Oh, no.
That's like cyberpunk. Like, you've just been hacked.
That's... My phone gets me.
I want you to know that as we were having this conversation, my phone... let me know that someone commented on my YouTube, and I like to go to them immediately. And as we were talking about this was the comment. You should do a Renegade Cut of Apocalypse Now and Taxi Driver if you haven't already done them. Okay, I have both, and you can't request it anyway.
I think you should do an episode on Apocalypse Now meets Taxi Driver.
Okay, so I just tried the thing where I typed in RE and then all the words that popped up.
What do you got, Austin?
It's a lot less coherent. It says, really wants to know that you have a car accident and a lot more to do. I don't know what that says about me.
I responded, RE did both. Just search. I have playlists. That is the nicest way I could put it.
Yeah. Like, I don't understand why anybody would be asking you to do things if there's a whole bunch of other episodes that you've done that they haven't listened to.
Yeah. This must be like the first episode they've come to. Like, oh, someone is talking about Gone Girl. I like this one person. Rather than check into this one person, I will make 2 requests. I bet he loves those.
I think the whole, like, for the, what's it called? Can I Google that for you? Thing. Have you ever seen that before?
Yeah, basically that's what you're supposed to do.
Like, how much longer is that going to be necessary? Because people are growing up with the internet now. Surely that's going to be just like second nature to most people soon, right?
You would think so.
Austin,
yeah.
the problem that you have is that there's this, like, social media has cultivated this idea that the internet is really all of us just sitting in a giant noisy room together, and that if you yell loud enough, you can get somebody's personal attention. Which is, way better than actually Googling, because Googling is so impersonal, and, like, at least this way I'm interacting with them.
I guess. I don't know. I that's just antithetical to how I live my life. Like, I've deliberately done everything the opposite of what would make me popular. Like, I don't show my face on stuff. I don't have a Facebook page. Like, I was editor-in-chief of the site we both worked for, and I have several podcasts that I led, and yet I have way fewer followers than you last time I checked, Johnny. Like, I'm by far the least popular, and I feel like it's
I have
deliberate.
no idea. I kind of stopped paying attention to my follower count a while ago.
Because you're so popular.
My follower count on Twitter is not nearly as important as my YouTube subscriber amount, because I don't know. For some reason, like, my Twitter followers plateaued and my YouTube subscribers went crazy.
Well, I mean, Twitter is kind of on the way out. Like, where you want to be if you want to get the traffic is YouTube, and, like, you want to have all your shit on Reddit. Like, there's places where people are, and those are the places I am not. So, I don't know. I just have missed out on all that, which is pretty good. I'm still sane.
Austin, I've got like 528 followers, and you have like 505.
Okay, I'm closing the gap, but at one time, I remember.
That's not even a gap, dude.
You're a gap.
Hey, that's our word.
Dang.
Oh my God, Austin! You know what? It'd be great if you did a show where a bunch of guys played Dungeons and Dragons together, and you recorded it. You should do that next.
That sounds stupid. Why would you even suggest that? Get out of my face, Leon.
Oh my God, you should do that. And also,
That just adds on to everything that you hear anybody ever say. And also,
all right.
To summarize, the internet has made Leon a sociopath.
Look, I look in all seriousness.
Antisocial at very best. I mean,
Logically, I understand why this is happening, and the reason it's happening is actually very good. It is that my show is becoming more popular, and all of these new people are just sort of like charging into my YouTube channel to subscribe, and they're like, "Oh, I wonder if this guy has ever done Twilight. Let me just ask him in the comments instead of look." Because people are just accustomed to doing that. And I really do understand logically why all this has been happening, even more so lately. I just feel like we should all be adults about this
Leon?
and just take 5 seconds to search.
Leon, I can help you out with this, but I'm not sure you'd like the results of how it happens, how it goes after the fact.
Okay.
Because all you got to do is just show up at those YouTube comments and just be like the hipster band guy, where someone writes a comment, they're like, "Oh, you should do Apocalypse Now." Then you can be like, get me to go in there and write a comment that's like, "God, man, he did Apocalypse Now 2 fucking years ago. Where were you, suckling at your mom's tit?"
So wait, just turn up the just anger levels is what you're suggesting?
I'm just, I'm not saying, because, I mean, he will want to look like he's keeping his nose clean, but...
So you're his ringer.
I know a guy.
In all seriousness, even though I'm sort of playfully complaining about this now, I do try to respond to these requests as kindly as I can, because really it's really flattering that they care enough about my show that they want to see me talk about Apocalypse Now. There's been a lot of people talking about Apocalypse Now for decades. There's a whole documentary about it that's really good.
Okay. How do you feel about this then? All right. Instead of showing up and doing the hipster band thing, showing up and doing "Have you heard the word of Jesus Christ" thing. Where someone's like, "Oh, have you seen Blade Runner?" I can show up and be like, "Golly gee, you bet he did. In fact, he did a whole episode about it. You should watch this, mister. It's amazing."
I don't want you to be my shill.
Who's eating chips?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking at something. I was going to read this.
Is it a bag of chips?
No, I was going to read this before we did the show.
Before you read this, can I ask you one question though before we leave this topic?
It's not a bag of chips, but yeah, go ahead.
Why is it not a bag of chips?
Because they got sent to me in the mail, and nobody sends me anything awesome. So let's see. What is this? Oh, I think it's a religious pamphlet. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, it's about Scientology again. I'm sorry. It's a completely different Scientology magazine. It threw me off. It's called Impact, and it does not immediately say on the cover.
Describe the cover art to me, because I need to know what a Scientology magazine called Impact uses as its "you want to read this, grab" art.
It is terrifying. It's a young child's eyes looking at me like cockeyed, and he's behind. I'm not sure what this is called. In my mind, I don't know if this is a real thing, but in movies when people want to get into the exclusive club and they knock on the door and a tiny thing opens up.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what he's
porthole.
If that's what it's called, then okay. But yes, he's looking out of that. I don't understand what this is about. And then I open it up, and then it immediately says lifetime membership is your commitment to Scientology and to your future.
Is this one addressed to you? Because that would be extra creepy. I understand that the last one was sent to you with another person's name on it, but it'd be weird if, gradually over time, it slowly became your name.
No, it's addressed to someone named. I'm just gonna dox him.
Whoa.
I'm not sure this qualifies as doxing, reading a stranger's name on the air. I mean,
especially since it's my address, but I'm not going to say the address. Someone named, you know what? I probably shouldn't say the last name because maybe you could search that name and find out where I live. So,
you accidentally dox yourself.
yeah, his name's David. I mentioned on a previous episode that his name's David. I'm just now looking at his last name. It doesn't matter.
I really hope this storyline becomes like every week you're like, haha, ironic Scientology, but eventually like you start reading them and you start getting into it and you're like, there is something to this. And then
I've always been curious about my Thetan level.
Yeah, you come back one week and your guys like, have you really thought about Xenu? Like, really thought about it? I like, because stuff like that happens to me. Like, I started ironically using slang like dog, like, hey dog, and then I couldn't stop, and now it's just a thing I say. Like, you have to be careful with irony.
Promise me that I'm first in line to be audited, Leon.
Okay. Oh my gosh, there's something about renewed vitality. Imagine waking up every morning with a zest for life and an enthusiasm for living that lasts all day. I feel that most days, Scientology. You're not giving me anything new.
I really need a new job.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Have you considered career opportunities with the Church of Scientology? Apparently they have free zest.
Yeah, but you know what they don't have?
What?
Lasers and radiation.
They don't. Wait,
so
yeah, they do on spaceships.
Yeah, but I mean, they don't work on them. They've got to wait for them.
Yeah.
You have to get to a certain level before you get access to the lasers.
See? I'd get so busted before then. They'd be like, wait a minute. You're in this for the lasers, aren't you?
You know what I do? I mean, no one's ever tried to sell me on Scientology, like, on the street. Like, I imagine that's a thing, like, maybe in California and certain places.
Yeah, like, not the stereotype, but Scientology is a pyramid scheme that's all about stealing money, and I don't think you're in a prime area for that.
No. So but if I ever, like, go to Hollywood for something, and I'm walking down the street, and someone says, would you like a free reading, free audit? And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go right in. I'm gonna walk right in, and I'm like, where's the lasers?
No, they call it a personality test first.
I can take a personality
They're
test.
They're like, oh, do you want a free personality test? And then you take it, and then they're like, wow, man, this is something. You're not very happy, are you? Man, if only there was something we could do.
They're reading Leon's results, and they're like, whoa, are you a cannibal? I've never seen readings like this. What is wrong with you?
I've taken personality tests. I'm neutral good, and that's the only thing I need to know.
There's a really great magnetic fields song. I don't know if you guys know the magnetic fields.
I do.
I feel like you make up bands every week.
No, God, no. The magnetic fields is like an American institution. He's like a new age Cole Porter. The man, like, we'll find some time to talk about the magnetic fields. But they have this really great song. I think it's called Hootenanny. And it's like, hang on a second.
Speaking of music, if you listened, I think it was last week, I actually did get around to listening to In an Airplane Over the Sea by Neutral Milk Hotel in order as God intended, and it's actually super good.
Good.
I liked it a lot. It reminds me, Leon, do you like the Decemberists?
Yeah.
Okay. There's clearly some influence one way or the other there, and that's what I was vibing off of.
There is only one way for that influence to go, since Neutral Milk Hotel was a band in the early 90s and then immediately broke up.
Yeah, that's why.
They didn't immediately break up.
Let me rephrase that. They made 2 albums, and Jeff Mangum went nuts and said no.
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't he like a Salinger?
He was for a long time. They did a reunion thing for the past couple of years, and now he's just done again. But no new material, just a tour of old stuff.
Johnny.
Yeah, sorry, there's something really weird going on with my music directory, but it's called We Are Having a Hootenanny. And the song is called, and it's like, it starts and it's like, we are having a hootenanny now. We are having a hootenanny now. And you're just like, okay, that's weird. But then, like, the second verse is like, please come and take our personality quiz. Oh, come and take our personality quiz. And I'm like, that got weird pretty quick.
I feel like that probably describes a lot of your music library. Should we discuss stories or questions?
You're mean.
In a good way. I like your taste in music. I'm just saying a lot of it's weird.
Let's make up fake band names like Johnny does every week.
It's not fake. The Magnetic Fields are fantastic. They've been around for like 30 goddamn years. They were a staple of college radio in its heyday. Like, oh God, if you haven't heard of the album 69 Love Songs, which is actually 69 love songs in like 3 discs.
That's some bullshit. How do you justify that to a label?
I'm dead fucking serious, because it's like the man is like an absolute master of lyrical songwriting. He's clever, he's romantic, he's maudlin. He really is like kind of like a modern Cole Porter.
Okay. I like that band, but they have nothing on Mr. Pepsi and the Deep Fingers.
That's a good one. I actually had a list of fake band names for a long time because we kept making them up as like inside jokes with my friends. One of my favorite was I think I mentioned this was Crucial Balls. That was I think we named an episode of the BT podcast after that when I brought it up. What was the other one? Oh, it was a Great Ball Action. That was related.
Yes, great ball action.
But that came from a completely different source. That sound like they influenced one another. They did not. Shit, there's other good ones. The Bloodthirsty Penguins was one. Shit, I used to have a whole bunch.
Something really weird is going on with my music directory right now.
It's rebelling against you.
All the files are there, but my MP3 player is just like, nope, don't know what you're talking about. In fact, the only thing that it left me with are recordings of word funk, and that's it.
Corfinax has risen. All right. Do you guys want to hit the first topic? We threw like. All right. Who wants to go first?
I have nothing, so you can go ahead with.
All right. There's 2 things that happened to me this week that I could talk about. One is I started watching I guess it's a Hulu original series. It's the adaptation of Stephen King's story by the guy who goes back in time just to try to stop the JFK assassination. Are you guys aware of this?
That's a weird title.
That's not the name of it.
The Unlikely Savior.
It's 11-something-63. It's a date. It's the date of the JFK assassination. I'm gonna fuck it up. 11/22/63 is the name. I assume neither of you have read the book or seen the series.
Nope.
Okay, no, it's not the Unlikely Savior that I'm thinking of. Never mind.
Isn't that the fake thing from Gone Home?
Yeah.
It's the book from Gone Home about the JFK assassination.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this series, it stars what's from Pineapple Express and The Interview.
Seth Rogen?
Nope, the other guy. Close. Halfway
James
there.
Franco.
James Franco.
Yes, James Franco.
It's weird that you only know him from one movie. He's like a huge movie star, but okay.
He sort of is. I mean...
Listen, Pineapple Express is like one of my favorite comedies. I don't know if that's uncool to say, but that's what I always think of him from. What else has he done that's like super popular?
What was that?
This Is the End.
Yeah, there was that one where he got his ankle trapped between the rocks. What was that, in 72 hours, 3 days?
Yeah, I think it's
27 minutes.
He was there for a while.
A fortnight. That's what it was. No, a parsec. There we go.
That's a
measure of distance.
Yes, that movie. I haven't seen that either. So I always think of him as being from Pineapple Express, but he's in this. I don't know what I can talk to you guys about because neither of you are familiar with the material, but the basic story is that he finds a portal that leads to 1960 on a specific date. It's a one-way portal. It only goes between the modern times and that one specific date. And so someone tells him, like, hey, the one important thing you can do back there is stop the JFK assassination. So he goes back and he has to like wait 3 years and like plan in that time because
it's like the only important thing that you could do.
Well, no, he does eventually try to do other things because he has a lot of free time and
good for him.
Yeah.
forces are working against him. It's actually, I think the book's really good. Stephen King is great with premises, and he does a lot with it. He doesn't stick the ending, as he so often does not. But they actually, I think they're gonna do more foreshadowing and more setting up of the ending in the miniseries, because like even in the first scene of the show, it's like an 8-episode miniseries. So in the first episode, there's some writing on the blackboard behind a guy who's talking, which foreshadows what's going to happen later if they stick with that ending, which works a lot better when the ending in the book kind of comes out of nowhere. But I actually dig it a lot. I was expecting it to not be great because it's like a Hulu original, which I don't think any have ever been good. And I wasn't expecting the budget to be super great either, but they did some really great like period piece work, like the costuming and the sets and stuff. There's like this whole like main street they fabricated and stuff. It's actually pretty good looking. Okay. And I dig James Franco. He's a really charismatic dude.
All right.
He sort of is. He's kind of creepy. He creeps me out a little bit. I get a little creeped out by James Franco, but
I've heard that he's kind of a dirtbag in real life, but I don't know. Like, I don't have any sources.
Yeah, I know. I don't know either. So it's just like, it's weird. So whenever I see him, I'm always like, yeah, you've kind of got something there, but I feel weird about you, dude.
Does JFK die?
Do you want me to spoil the series?
I hate to give you a spoiler, Leon, but JFK died a long time ago.
Oh. Yeah.
It's in history.
I would recommend the series, both the book and the show. Just for the thought experiment stuff alone, I think it's always really interesting to be like, what would you do if you went back to 1960? Like,
chill out.
There's a lot of really cool period detail because Stephen King was like a child back then, and so it's like people like talk shit about his haircut and his fashion and stuff, and like even the way he talks. Like he's like, oh, this pie is insane, and like everyone's like, is that a good thing? Like, what did you just say? Those aren't like, that's not the order those words go in. There's a lot of cool shit like that.
I'm willing to bet they probably had some good cheese.
Yeah, they actually mentioned...
I wouldn't mind trying the dairy back then. That'd be pretty interesting.
They actually make a point of that the food all tastes different to him because they don't use all the like preservatives and stuff. Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff like that. That to me is the main draw. Like the JFK stuff is more of like the hook and the setup, but it's 8 hours of TV for what could be an episode of The Twilight Zone if they just went to the end of it.
Yeah.
But that's that. The other thing that happened, guys, that I wanted to talk about, and I know neither of you care in the big picture, but there's a couple points I want to hit on it, is have you guys seen Kanye West lose his goddamn mind on Twitter?
I have. Oh, yes. Yeah. It started a couple of weeks ago where he was like, I'm not into butt stuff, but then it was like, I'm like, Kanye, the butt stuff. Think about it. Not that Kanye West is going to listen to me, but...
Yeah, with his current behavior, you have no idea if he might strike up a conversation with you about butt stuff. It's totally within his wheelhouse. But no, he said
maybe I should send his publicist an email and be like, hey, listen, I'm here to talk about the butt stuff. If you ever want to talk about the butt stuff, boy.
He said a bunch of crazy shit, right? So he tweeted that like Bill Cosby was innocent. And then he tweeted that he was like slut shaming his ex, and that got turned back on him. Then he changed the title of his new album like 3 or 4 times. He just like went nuts. He asked Mark Zuckerberg for $1 billion and talked about how he was like $53 million in debt. There was just a bunch. It was like what was that? Amanda Bynes meltdown.
And then UK Pizza Hut was all like, listen, dude, there's a discrepancy here on your job application that we need to talk about.
Okay, I just want to interject one thing. Amanda Bynes' meltdown was due to genuine mental health problems. She didn't just like freak out one day. But I genuinely don't know about Kanye West's mental health problems. He might just be a douchebag, and that might be why all of this is happening. But I just wanted to say that real quick. Like, when Amanda Bynes started losing her mind and burning things, a lot of people thought that was funny, and I guess at first, yeah, I kind of giggled, but then I was like, oh, she clearly has a mental disorder. This is not funny at all. And it was revealed that, yes, she does. I think she's bipolar as well as some other things. If this turns out that Kanye West has like a serious emotional issue that he needs to deal with, then I'm pulling for him, I guess, even as a guy who has absolutely no dog in this fight, because I do not care about him as a musician or a person. But if it turns out, much as we have suspected for many years, that he's just kind of a jackass, then this is just him being a jackass on a new level.
I was under the impression that there was the real Kanye West, and then there was his douchebag stage persona.
Yeah, we've had this conversation.
I know, but I feel like that needle is moving. Like I think like he's incepted himself into a new Kanye. Like he doesn't even know where the line is anymore.
Or, much as I have suggested to you in the past, he might just be a jackass.
He also his tweets, if you read them in an acrostic poem style, spelled out Voldemort. Did you see that?
I did not. But
I did see that.
Like I don't know. Like it could just be performance art. He could just be like out of his mind. I don't know. But there's a couple of things in here. Like I said, I know you guys don't care about him or his music really. I mean, I do care about his music. I think he's a really interesting artist. But just putting that aside, I think
I care about the state of pop culture. You know, like I was moved to say a couple of things when there was that whole like slut shaming, and then somebody using essentially homophobia to try and like either get a rise out of him or embarrass him in public, and I was like, wow, neither of those things are fucking cool, man.
Yeah. It's not cool to like talk shit about your exes, and it's equally not cool to like take that kind of stuff and try to embarrass somebody for their like perfectly harmless preferences. Whatever. The idea that I was trying to get at here is like in his ramblings, there are some interesting and I think notable things to talk about. One is that he talked about how he wasn't going to sell his album or put it on iTunes. It was only going to be available through Tidal, which is like a streaming service owned by artists, notably like Jay-Z and Arcade Fire, and a couple other people are in there. I think it's important for there to be competition in that space. iTunes is basically a monolith, but they're also fighting back against like streaming, like Pandora and Spotify.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Even like YouTube Red, which is like you can listen to unlimited free music on there if you so choose. So I think his like a lot of people basically called him like a whiner. And there's all these stats coming out that like his new album's been pirated like millions of times or whatever, and they're like, haha, you know, this is what happens. But like, that's not a bad idea for there to be an artist-owned and operated service for them to make money. Tidal also gives like a higher cut, like a higher percentage to their artists than all these other services. That's not a unworthy cause, I don't think.
Yeah, but Austin, we're talking about this in the day and age where people go and play Firewatch and they finish it in 4 hours or 3 hours or something, and they're like, wow, that was a really good game, but it was short, so I'm going to ask for a refund.
Yeah, I don't know. This is one of those things where there's so many questions.
If only Deadpool had been 45 minutes longer, then, maybe I would have felt okay about paying like $10 to go see it.
Is there any answer, though, Johnny? Like, to that, what can we do to get artists paid and consumers satisfied? Like, we can't just add 10 hours of padding to Firewatch? Like, what do we do?
No, we can't. We can't do it. People deserve to be paid for the labor that they get paid at. And it's not like Firewatch was asking for, like I'm sorry, but I'm running off now and I'm saying, ooh, like Firewatch. But, how much does Tidal charge? I probably can't get it because I live in the Canadas.
It's a subscription service. I don't have the stats in front of me, but like even if I thought it was too expensive, or I thought like, oh, the exclusives they have don't interest me. What if it's comparable though? What if it's comparable to like iTunes Music or whatever super amazing shit you guys have that I don't. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Especially with music, because those file sizes are so small and they're so easy to pirate. Like audio is essentially free space in the modern day as far as hard drive space is concerned. I just don't know how that like industry limps forward when there's like an infinite array of free shit out there. That like as a video game critic, I look at all these things and I'm like, whoa, we have all these problems culturally and financially. But like I look at music and I'm like, whoa, at least we're not in that trash fire.
Yeah.
Like, oof, we are sitting high on the horse in the video games over here. Jeez. But yeah, I don't have any solutions to those problems. I just want to acknowledge them as things, as well as the other thing Kanye said that I feel is worth talking about was that he was mad that quote unquote white publications don't give like he said that white publications should stop talking about black music, and like that might take a while to unpack. Like, what is a white publication? Is it all white people? Is it mostly white people? Like, I don't even know where to begin with that. But once again, like, I see where he's coming from, because we look at the Grammys, like they have no idea what they're talking about when it comes to rap and hip hop, and I understand his frustration that like artists out there doing really interesting, cool shit, and they're not getting their props from the establishment, who is mostly white dudes. Like, I totally get that. But then you look at it and it's like, yeah, it's easy for him to say, being a really successful, world famous billionaire or whatever. Just, you know, let's not even get into that debt talk. Debt doesn't mean what you think it means to rich people.
Mm-hmm.
But if white, quote unquote, white publications stop talking about black artists, those people get way less exposure. He's essentially asking the industry to pull the ladder up behind him and leave a ton of like cool people in obscurity. Like, you see where he's coming from. You're like, oh yeah, like these people need proper.
As if it's just gonna fix itself, you know, after he's done.
Yeah, like he benefited basically from the establishment, but now he doesn't like the way it talks about him, so he wants it to stop doing what it's doing, despite the fact that it helps a lot of people who are in positions like he was. And it's this like glimmer of like, he has so many cool ideas, and that's how I feel about his music. Like he has all these things in his head, and then he's like, when he actually spits them out, you're like, yeah, that sound. Wait, hold on, wait, that might actually be bullshit, Kanye.
You just like him because he's way into Gundam.
He's a big fucking nerd. That is cool. I like that too. It's been a while since he actually talked about that. It's mostly his original trilogy when he was really into like the nerdy shit. He's since kind of moved on to like high fashion aesthetics, but
he's moved on to fashion aesthetics.
He has a very unique idea of what that means, but I won't bore you with a of the life of Paulo.
I've had a look at the Yeezy line.
Yeah. That's your thoughts on that? Just
I've had a look at it. I've had a look at the Yeezy line.
Yeah. I doubt many of our listeners are rap fans, so I'll cut it off there. It's just I find him really fascinating, and I'm eternally frustrated by his inability to articulate so much of the clever shit he has clearly bouncing around in his brain.
In fairness to Kanye West here, and not so much to Kanye West, but to problematic artists, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
A good number of the like directors and whatnot that I like have bad stories about them. I guess you could say. Like, I mean, the thing on Twitter right now was Kanye West said something like, "I'm more influential than Stanley Kubrick," and to me that's like, you're dumb. But at the same but at the same time, it's like, Stanley Kubrick did some bad shit to people on the sets of his movies. So it's not like he was like an angel. Ditto for like Alfred Hitchcock and Werner Herzog and so many others. So
I mean, people are just people. Sometimes they're assholes, sometimes they're talented, sometimes they're both.
Right, and I can certainly see like, Austin, I know you're not an asshole, and that you liking Kanye does not make you an asshole either, because you sometimes have to, sometimes you like someone's art and you can separate them from their attitudes, I guess you could say. Some people I just can't. Like, I can't sit down and watch a Roman Polanski movie anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can sort of see liking the guy. Yeah, but I just don't personally.
I was talking about this with someone yesterday, and I was like, do you think, okay, there's a parallel universe. Kanye puts out the exact same music, track for track, but he's a totally, like, quiet, like, normal, nice dude. Like, just some guy that you probably don't even think of in the music scene. What effect does that have? Is he way less popular? Is he just as popular, but people have a better opinion of him? And the person I was talking to was like, no, he labors in obscurity, and he has like maybe a small cult fan base. And I was like, I don't know if that's true, but that's a sad thought.
I think same level of songs, but basically a nice guy. Does well, maybe not as well, but will be regarded better later, like after his time. People will look back on him more fondly. And
you could argue that even right now we're looking back in a certain sense, because when can we truly say that Kanye hit his zenith?
I mean, Dark Twisted Fantasy, I think, is not only his best album, but possibly one of the best albums. So I don't know if he's ever going to hit that again.
But hasn't he only been but since he's only been making music for what, like 10, 15 years or so,
Yeah.
maybe it's too soon.
Yeah, but not everybody gets a Beatles run,
Yeah, that's true. That's certainly true. All right, is there literally anything else we can talk about besides Kanye West? Because
You bet there is, Leon.
I have a bunch of like personal stories, but they all cast me in a bad light. So I'm thinking of just not doing them at all this week. So Johnny, if you have any things you'd like to talk about, I'm down.
I have a personal story too, but it's incredibly depressing, so we'll just kind of like pass by that because it's got nothing to do with me. Just a friend of mine spending 3 days in the emergency room at a hospital.
Oh.
Did you guys hear that Warren Spector is going to be joining the development team at Other Side Entertainment?
No.
Okay, let me rephrase this question.
Just said.
Do you guys care that Warren Spector is going to be joining the development team at Other Side Entertainment?
Which one is Warren Spector again, and what is Other Side Entertainment?
Deus Ex, Epic Mickey, are the games.
Like many other things, like Ultima Underworld, like regular Ultima, and like Wing Commander and other Origin titles and things like that.
The amount that I don't care could manifest itself into like the tangible world.
Which is why when I first suggested this, I was like, hey, I kind of want to talk about Warren Spector at Other Side, or it's like in bracket subtitle, Leon Nap Time.
Yeah, you can absolutely talk about it because while you're doing that, I can respond to the same person who asked me to do Apocalypse Now and God, what was it? Apocalypse Now and Taxi Driver, because he responded and said, "Oh, then can you do Goodfellas or The King of Comedy?" So in the space of a few minutes, I've had 4 requests. 2 I can't because I've done them. 2 more that I won't. So just to give you some level of how many requests I get a day, 4 from the same guy, 2 that make no sense.
I do like this supports your earlier argument because I'm sure some people were listening were like 15 minutes on him bitching about his commenters. Who cares? But now it's like you in real time. Now you're getting a taste of it.
Right. This is how my life goes. It's not a bad life though. I like things. Anyway, Johnny, if you want to talk about it, be my guest. I'm not going to stop you.
Sure. Austin, are you in on this, or shall I just like launch into one of my tirades?
I mean, Warren Spector hasn't made anything good in forever, and honestly, I have a hard time being excited about him. He's kind of like Pierre Molyneux, where it's like, oh yeah, you did that thing I really liked.
Well, I mean,
and then never again.
I heard that Epic Mickey was actually pretty good. The first one. No. I heard the second one was like a painted disaster.
The first one was like 5 or 6 out of 10. The second one was like a 2 out of 10. They're both
really
pretty bad. They're both pretty bad.
I heard that the first one wasn't too bad, but I knew that the second one was a total disaster.
The first one might have been salvageable. The second one was like unfinished.
In any case, though.
But even like, okay, System Shock 3, which is the thing he's going to work on, like we don't know anything about it.
No, we don't. But I mean, we already know that that Other Side Entertainment is basically made up of ex-Looking Glass Studio people in the first place, and like the first game they've decided to do too was like, yeah, let's go back to Ultima Underworld, only this time it's called Underworld Ascendant, and I'm getting videos for Underworld Ascendant because I kickstarted it because I was like, what do you mean Paul Neurath has started another game development studio and they want to bring back Underworld? They're doing it. Okay. But like he's been advising them while he's been working at like I think it's like the University of Texas or something like that. He started a program there, I think it was, for like game development. I think it's the University of Texas. In any case, he's been advising Other Side on the development of Underworld because. Well, I mean, he was a huge part of Origin Games and Looking Glass Studios. And to have him come back and be like, oh man, to work on System Shock 3? This is like getting the band back together, But like getting the band back together is also like it's a bittersweet moment because it's like, oh man, but can you guys rock like you used to?
No, like we've seen that. Like a lot of these Kickstarters, they've gotten the band back together for projects, and very few of them I feel have panned out very well.
Oh yeah, like what?
Like anything Molyneux touches, that's the first one, right?
Yeah, okay, but Molyneux was never getting the band back together. Molyneux was like Phil Collins after leaving Genesis, thinking that he was like still the shit.
Okay. I know what you're gonna say. You're gonna say Pillars of Eternity and what's the other one? Torment Numenera?
Well, Torment Numenera's yet to come out, but Wasteland 2 did a good job. And all the haters say what they will, but I think Star Citizen is still looking on track. Elite Dangerous did a really good job. They're like their expansion packs are just fucking killing it right now.
So you think it's going to be a Wasteland 2?
Red Thread Games with the Dreamfall Chapters expansion. Let me just, you know what? I honestly even think that Double Fine's Adventure was like what I was looking for, honestly. I know that a lot of people were like, it wasn't as
The puzzles in part 2 were bad, but I like Broken Age.
Yeah, Broken Age. I enjoy.
I know, like some people are going to say
Divinity Original Sin is a super success story.
Mm-hmm. My thoughts were like Mighty Number 9, which looks awful, and I think everyone hates it. I think
No, it does not. You're
it
wrong.
Does.
No.
Okay.
Shut up.
Okay. Sorry, Leon. It doesn't look good.
I'm gonna see him. By the way,
Shadowrun Returns. At least the director's cut and Hong Kong.
Yeah. Also, I hear a lot of people are disappointed in Ukulele, the way that's shaping up. I'm
on their mailing list for Ukulele, but I haven't even seen that much of it yet. So
wait, so let's back up, Leon. You're meeting KJ Inafune. Is that what you just tried to say to me?
yes, within the next few days at Magfest.
You can tell him that I don't think that Mighty Number 9 looks terrible.
I'm not going to say anything of the sorts. I'm just going to hug him.
Okay.
And try to absorb his powers.
Right.
Richard Garriott's Shroud of the Avatar looks like it's on point.
Does it?
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't heard anything exciting about that. Well, you've made your point. There have been successes and there have been failures, and you think that System Shock 3 is shaping up with the cast of people it's collected to be more likely a success. Is that where we're going?
I'm saying that I like the staff members. Like I like the people that they have on team. Like I haven't seen anything about System Shock 3. We don't even know if it's being funded in-house. Everybody's just kind of like, okay, so it's going to be Other Side Entertainment's second project. I mean, the people at this studio have done things before, but as a unit, it's going to be their second project, and the first one they have is currently in development due to Kickstarted money. So it's like,
yeah, we have no idea the scope or scale. I think it's going to be a much smaller, cheaper game than people think. So I'm trying to manage expectations.
I'm okay with that as long as it's good.
Yeah, yes.
Ooh, and the Tex Murphy game too. No,
right.
It was like, come on, it was.
I haven't played it. I heard that people liked it.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to
FTL in your fucking face? FTL was a super success story.
Can you tell that Johnny has kickstarted a lot of video games?
Yeah.
That's only. Do you want to hear the whole list here?
No.
There's nothing.
No,
I'm less than that, please.
I'm gonna go through it as fast as possible. Okay.
Leon,
All right, you ready?
Time to get a snack.
Double Fine Adventure, FTL, Wasteland 2, Leisure Suit Larry Comes Again, Mobius, Pinkerton Road Studios, Shadowrun Returns, Battle of the Bulge, Starflight Inception, Republic, Carmageddon Reincarnation, Two Guys Adventure with Space Quest, Tex Murphy, Dead State, Quest for Infamy, Star Command, Broken Sword, Project Eternity, Hero U, Strike Sue Zero, Sir, You're Being Hunted, Elite Dangerous, Dreamfall Chapters, Unwritten, John Schaefer at the Gates, Torment Tides of Numenera, Shroud of the Avatar, Worlds of Magic, Among the Sleep, Satellite Rain, Mighty Number 9, Long Dark, Mandate, Kung Fury was a movie, La Mulana 2, Last Life, Dead Synchronicity, Pathologic, Thimbleweed Park, That Dragon, Cancer, Into the Stars, Shadowrun Hong Kong, Underworld Ascendant, Toe Jam and Earl Back in the Groove, Descent Underground, Halcyon 6 Starbase Commander, Ukulele, Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, Bard's Tale 4, We Happy Few, XO, a retro sci-fi strategy game, Divinity Original Sin 2, and, a few more that haven't paid off yet, like Consortium, The Tower, Overload, and Dujana.
I'm gonna cut all of that. No, I'm kidding.
You should put up a speed effect over it.
Maybe.
Do you want to start with questions, Leon?
And those are the only ones. Those are only the ones that actually paid off. Those are the ones that succeeded.
I mean, we could get into questions. We could talk about how I farted on a church on Sunday, but
You certainly can.
But we could just skip that. Questions.
Before we go to questions, can I take a quick moment here because somebody did ask me on Twitter last week to talk about the Discworld books because I mentioned them. I think it was last episode, maybe the episode before, where we were talking about novels and things like that. Have you read the Discworld books, Leon?
No, zero. I've read almost no fantasy books at all.
Okay. Well, there's a good reason why you and everybody listening to this should read the Discworld books, because they have done for the fantasy genre what Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and like Callahan's Crosstime Saloon did for science fiction. They actually they managed to take a fantasy world and make it like incredibly funny. They polemicize everything, but without a doubt, my favorite things in the Discworld books, they go after like Hollywood, they go after death, they go after tourism, magic, like all these contemporary things, but just in this framework that allows them to design that Terry Pratchett designs this world around that It's just extremely funny. But I think that the best way of illustrating that are the little bits of knowledge from famous Discworld philosopher Lai Tin Weedle. And I'm just going to read a really short excerpt here. Okay? This is from the book Mort, which I think was maybe the 5th Discworld book. And it goes as follows. The only thing known to go faster than ordinary light is monarchy, according to the philosopher Lai Tin Weedle. He reasoned like this. You can't have more than one king, and tradition demands that there is no gap between kings, so when a king dies, the succession must therefore pass to the heir instantaneously. Presumably, he said, there must be some elementary particles, kingons, or possibly queons, that do this job. But of course, succession sometimes fails if in mid-flight they strike an antiparticle or republicon. His ambitious plans to use his discovery to send messages involving the careful torturing of a small king in order to modulate the signal were never fully expanded because, at that point, the bar closed.
Okay. I checked the Wikipedia page. There are way too many.
But they are so good. They're so good.
I believe you. I don't disbelieve you. But I'm still in the second Harry Potter.
That's always been my thing. I know Discworld has a huge reputation. It's supposed to be really good, but I look at them I don't have time.
The thing is, gentlemen, they're non-contiguous.
I would have to, Johnny. That's just my personality. I have to start at the beginning and I have to read them all.
The first two follow kind of a set storyline, but after that, it's sort of bips and bobs around and.
Nope, that ain't how Austin do.
You're gonna have to pick one up one of these days, or risk living a life of regret.
You can't tell me what to do. You're not my real dad.
Are you sure?
Leon, do you want to start with questions?
So you don't want to hear about how I farted on a church?
Oh, I thought that was the whole story. Is there more?
Is this on, or some mixture of the two?
Oh, on. No, I was not in it. It was on it. It wasn't for no reason.
So it was you made this was a okay. Now I do.
This was not an affront to Christianity.
There was a rich fiction at work.
No, I think Christians.
Is this gonna be meat wheel material?
I think Christians are mostly cool. Without going into all the details because some of it is private. My work had how do I put this? My job I had to go there on business. I had to go to the church on business.
Do you collect clipped foreskins? Is that what's going on here?
I had to go to the church on business. The people in the church who handled money did not handle it well, in a way that was frankly insulting to me.
Oh, wait a second. I got this. You had to go break some legs, didn't you?
No. But I there was nothing I could do about it because I'm not going to get into an argument in a church. But I walked out and I was like, man, these guys are really mean, and there's nothing I could do about it. So I closed, the big door in the front of a church, and I just farted on it. It's like, that's what I think of you. And it was probably the most petulant thing I could have done in that moment. But it felt really good. Also, it just had a thought. It's also sacrilegious, and not just because I farted on the church, but because it was revenge. And the Bible explicitly says that revenge is only for God.
Leon, I feel like you've done such a meticulous job of cultivating a personality of like you're like an intellectual and you're like a very no-nonsense guy, and then you just bust out a story that makes you seem like a 12-year-old.
I look, you don't understand what they did to me. They were really mean. And I was like, I fart on your church. And
I like Johnny's suggestion that you've secretly been a moil the entire time.
Hey, he was like, these people, they didn't handle their money as well as they could have been. So, my work.
Well, that was your
I had to go there.
All right.
I have more. I have other stories this week. I put part of my body in milk.
I will sit here for 3 hours and listen to you tell stories and answer questions. It's on you.
Okay. Do I want to tell this story? I'll
fucked milk. Listen,
what?
It's okay. We're your friends. You can tell us you fucked milk.
What? No, I gotta know. What kind of milk? Are we talking homogenized, 2%?
It was 2%. I don't drink much milk myself because, I mean, if I do, it's kind of it's not the point. The point is,
but it's okay to have it on your body.
There was some in the home. So what happened was this. I don't know.
Before you continue here, because just the way that you worded this, I want to know exactly what kind of story we're getting into here. You put some of your body in milk.
In milk.
Not you got some milk on your body.
Right. No. I mean, if I spilled milk on myself, that wouldn't be really much of a story, would it?
No, that's I'm just clarifying that because I wouldn't want you to be like...
No, it would just...
And at that point in time, I blinked and I got milk everywhere.
No, that would not only be a boring story, but also just the start of an aphorism. So...
Well, please, go on.
Okay.
I'm intrigued now.
I don't know if either of you guys cut your own vegetables.
Mm-hmm. I do, yeah.
Okay,
Wait, what other option is there? Are there guys for that? Do you hire a vegetable guy?
Let me rephrase that. I don't know if you guys cook much, but I know Johnny does. I don't know if Austin does.
Sometimes.
Yeah. Okay, all right. Well, I made a vegetarian chili the other day.
Not a thing.
It's totally not a thing.
Which is excellent, by the way. One of the things
it might be great, but it's still not vegetarian chili.
Okay. The point is,
this show would be 8 minutes long if we stopped interrupting each other.
My God. So I made the chili, and one of the ingredients is jalapenos, and so I cut up jalapenos. How you cut up jalapenos and how you prepare them is you cut off the top part, you cut it down the middle, you open it up, and then you get rid of all the lighter green stuff and the seeds out, and then you cut and you dice. And then you keep doing that until you have enough jalapenos, and then you wash your hands thoroughly because you do not want to have even the slightest particle, the tiniest bit of residue of jalapeno on your hands should you have to touch your eye or something.
Unless you're into that. I mean, not that I would know.
Right. So the point is, wash your hands thoroughly after cutting up jalapenos, which I do.
Unless you're into that.
Oh my God, shut the fuck up.
He's trying to tell a story about jalapeno fisting. This is going to be great. Shut up.
So anyway, shortly after cutting up the jalapenos and washing my hands thoroughly, I had to go to the bathroom, and I took a leak, and then that was it. It was not a big deal. I take a leak a few times a day. Here's the thing. There was still jalapeno on my hands. which means I don't know how you two urinate, but the way I do, because I don't want to ever make a mess, is to hold myself just a little bit instead of just letting things fly. So,
what is this conversation? Like, what are there like secret kung fu techniques? Like, I am helicopter style.
look, I've gone to men's bathrooms and I've been at the urinal, and although I do not stare, I've noticed guys just kind of like pull their pants down and put their hands against the wall and go, ugh. It's just kind of like, I'm like, you're gonna make a mess of yourself. So apparently that's a thing for some people. But anyway.
And Austin, if there were secret kung fu techniques, I'm afraid you're not experienced enough for me to teach them to you.
And some people just read while they're doing things and their hands are otherwise occupied. Not the point though. The point is I put my hand on my thing and there was a tiny bit of jalapeno still on my hand and it got on my thing. So I was like, "Ow, that hurts. This'll go away soon." It did not. I decided, well, it was time to go to sleep because this was just preparation for the next day. But I was still in a lot of pain. So I thought, oh, well, I'll just, put some cold water on myself and that'll be enough of that. Here's the thing about that. Wait, for God's sake, shut the fuck up, Johnny.
This is too good.
God, you just stop inserting yourself into my dick story. God. Okay. So, point is, if much like when you eat something spicy and is in your mouth, don't drink water. It just sloshes it around, and it gives you only temporary relief. What you want to do is drink milk or something starchy. I wasn't going to put bread on myself. That would be weird. So I poured some milk into a bowl, and I just drowned myself in that thing for a while. To give you some idea of what I did to my member, it was like my dick was Jack Nicholson in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I was the Indian, and the milk was the pillow. So that happened. And you know what? Totally worked. I'm fine now.
You play that wrong, Leon. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, look. I wasn't thinking too clearly because I was in penis pain, and it's terrible. You all know I don't like my male genitalia.
You know how my preferences are vis-a-vis ding-dongs.
Okay, all right. So I'm just going to take the floor for a second here.
Now you can go right ahead, Johnny.
Okay, all right. So here's the thing, all right, is that people drink milk because they seem to think that for some reason that spice, like, jalapenos or peppers or things like that, are like acidic for some reason, and that because milk is basic, it's like, ooh, it cancels it out. No.
It doesn't cancel it out, but it helps.
Okay, here's the thing, is that capsaicin is actually, it's hydrophobic, all right? It's non-water soluble. That's why when you drink water, it just spreads around. So when you try and wash yourself with water, you're just like wiping irritant all over you. Think of peppers as being something that like everybody's fucking allergic to. Like no matter what, your body goes, what the fuck is this? Get it! Okay? So what you were actually supposed to do, okay, drinking milk is fine because it's a kind of a protein and fatty suspension. That's fine. But if you get it on your body, and I'm not joking here, oils. So like vegetable oil, like olive oil or like canola oil or something like that. Even fucking like Vaseline.
I like to imagine Leon here. He's dunking his ding dong, and his roommate walks in and he sees him teabagging Vaseline.
Okay, first of all, my roommate is just my ex-wife, and she's way the heck in the other room. This is late at night, so
this is something else that you can do as well.
That's not a good mental image.
Rubbing alcohol, okay? Rubbing alcohol is another thing that will work.
Right, but
the problem with the rubbing alcohol...
I don't have any of the things you're mentioning. I do have milk.
What, you don't have any vegetable oil? You don't have any fucking olive oil or like canola oil or like...
I have spray. I use spray.
I'm not spraying your junk.
Right, I'm not going to do that. I feel like that might be a mistake.
I'm all slippery and ready to go.
Okay, but that's me just taking center stage right here to be like, all right, everybody, if you get capsaicin on your junk, all right, okay, oils, all right.
Okay, thank you. Leon,
Yeah,
we're an hour and 10 minutes in. Have you read a question?
I have plenty. One day I'm just not gonna have a penis anymore, and all of these jokes are gonna be gone. And so all these dick jokes I'm telling you, they're like for a limited time only. People.
Can you keep it in oil suspension?
No, so I'm just saying all of these dick jokes are kind of like the McRib or Blueberry cereal. So just get it while you can.
But you know the thing about the McRib, Leon?
Yeah.
It's made of dicks.
No, I was gonna say, it always comes back, meatier than ever.
Wait, is the McRib haunted? Did you just
I said-
introduce an element
said-
of
I said
haunted?
meatier than ever,
This-
meatier than ever.
This
But it's coming back.
This analogy was not like a 1-for-1, 1-to-1
Oh.
ratio. Never mind. All right. There are plenty of questions, but why don't we go to yours first because you're always kinder about these things. So I'm trying to be better. I know I should really be just flattered that people are asking me anything, that they actually care what I have to say about these things, and it's the mindset I'm trying to get into instead of being frustrated about these things. It's just hard. Okay. Well, but why don't you start, Austin?
Okay. Jordan Briggs asks, to date, what is your favorite anime fight scene and why? You guys don't watch as much anime as I do, so I should probably start with this one.
No, I can just nail it right off the top, actually.
Oh, dang.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. Cowboy Bebop movie in the train.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the mop. Were
No,
you-
no, it's the train scene.
Fuck, that's really good. I was going Cowboy Bebop too. I was thinking the Bruce Lee episode. The move like
They're all-
water.
Dude, they're all Bruce Lee episodes. Like every single one is no. Spike Spiegel's moves are actually based around Jeet Kune Do. I have I have the book, the Jeet Kune Do book that Bruce Lee wrote.
I was saying the one specifically where they call him out by name, but yeah, they're all inspired.
Yeah.
Damn, I have to think of a better one now. That's where I was going.
I could do a different one. I'm sure there's a Samurai Champloo episode that.
Oh yeah, that's same director.
Yep.
Pretty much all of the breakdance inspired sword fights in that series are really, really good. I'm trying to think because when you think anime, you think like super over the top fights, and those are kind of grounded. Those are like martial arts.
Mm.
So like favorite anime fight scene, it's something like Gurren Lagann at the end where they're throwing galaxies and planets at each other as shuriken. Like it's so ridiculously over the top, or like some Kill La Kill shit where people are like falling from space. Like those are the ones that like I feel like people want to hear when they say favorite anime fight scene. But there's something about like the grounded ones that since they're more, it's like the sword fight, the lightsaber fights in the new Star Wars where they weren't as fantastic as the prequels, so they felt like more real.
Mm-hmm. There's a rawness to them.
Yeah. What
about you, Leon? You got any?
I don't have one at all because I don't watch action anime.
Mm-hmm.
So this is all on you guys.
Yeah, I'm not super into like what's like fighting shonen. Like there's an entire like subgenre of like every week we're gonna have a new fight. Like this episode's Naruto versus this guy. This episode's JoJo versus this guy. And like
so what's your favorite One Punch Man fight? And how many punches?
See, you make that joke, but there's actually like the real answer like gives away a plot point. So
is nobody gonna say Fist of the North Star?
I mean, everyone like references Fist of the North Star, but do people actually like it beyond the first arc? Like, I don't know if it's actually like.
Not really, I guess, but some of its fight scenes are kind of hilarious.
Like everyone remembers You're Already Dead, and everyone remembers like the bad guy with like that fight scene, but like I don't actually know anything beyond that. Like I know it continued on.
Ninja Scroll has some pretty badass fight scenes.
I'm aware of it through Reputation, but that was before my time. That's like an 80s like softcore porn, right?
At points, yeah.
Yeah. I'm aware of certain things because of my proximity to anime culture, but I actually haven't gone back and watched a lot of those. Best anime fight scene, like they did really, really well with the JoJo adaptation. There's a ton of really good stuff in there. I think like Iggy versus Pet Shop is super good. Basically anything with Joseph versus the Uber vampires. Those are really good too. So, yeah, anime does fight scenes well. That's like its strength.
I'll take your word for it, Austin. You could just be making this shit up.
I could.
I mean, you know, like
I should have. Like, shit.
Oh, Fitzgeddon and the purple skunk face.
I really like the fight scene in Attack on Titan where Eren punches that Titan into the World Trade Center. Like, come on, I could just make stuff up, right? And you wouldn't know.
No, I wouldn't. But I wouldn't do that to you about my music.
You're still salty. Should I go to the next question then?
Sure.
Yeah.
Creature asks, would you deem self-made digital content acceptable as gifts for friends and loved ones? I assume self-made digital content, which I had a hard time saying, is that like music and art and stuff that you did on your computer, or what's
presumably? I mean, you know, like maybe you make a YouTube video or something like that and record a song or an MP3 or.
Is that okay?
I mean, there are ways, you know, to like get this stuff off the internet.
Nope, it's trapped forever in the hell dimension of YouTube.
Yeah. I'd say so. I like personalized gifts. I don't want a lot of things. I lead sort of a minimalist lifestyle, so there aren't a lot of things that I want. There are things I need, like food, and you know, stuff like that. Absolutely, but no, if like one of my friends said, "Hey, I wrote you a song for your birthday," I'd be like, "That is amazing." So yeah, that is a thing that I would like. So
I mean, that might actually be better because we're all adults. Like, we can all go to Amazon and buy ourselves whatever we want, right? But we can't really like compose a sonnet about yourself. That's psychotic.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've said before, I'm kind of anti-gift because of all these rules. I think the whole like pageantry and all these the unspoken like bullshit about gift giving is like a super big turnoff because it just feels inauthentic, and there's also other reasons, but I won't bore you with that. So like anything you can do where you're like, this feels right, I want to do this, and I think it'll make the person happy. Like, just don't overthink it. It's probably fine.
Okay.
Like, if they're a dick about it, then they're probably not a great friend, right?
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Johnny is escaped.
Yeah.
He is. Nope, you're back. Did you have any thoughts about gift giving and self-made digital content?
Well, I thought I already mentioned that.
Any more thoughts? I was just giving you because
I just I mean,
behind the
you know,
curtain,
like,
Johnny left for a second.
Okay. Well, you know, like it seems to me that almost the second shade of this question is whether or not it's okay to give a gift to someone that you made yourself.
Is that still a question? Are people still struggling with that?
I don't know, and that's the thing, is that it's sort of like, okay, yeah, you know, like it doesn't need to be material to mean anything. You know, like you can write somebody a poem, you can write somebody a song, and it doesn't have to be fucking material for it to mean anything. You can play it for them, and then they'll be like, oh my god, that's amazing. So why, like, you know, why is it any different to make a video or I don't know, you know, like...
Let's all just stop giving gifts.
It's
too complicated. Stop giving gifts. It makes everything harder, and no one likes it. It makes everyone super stressed out. It's the worst. Next question?
Next
Sure.
question.
Oh, real time update on people requesting videos from me.
How many is he up to now?
No, it's actually someone else entirely has bought one in the space of our doing this podcast. It's for Godzilla, the original one. I may have some things to say about nuclear...
Like, when you say the original, you mean the Toho, right?
Yeah, the original.
No, I just, for a second there, I was like, you don't mean the original American one, do you?
No, I mean I will have things to say about nuclear proliferation over the course of this video. So
there you go, everybody. You saw it got done in our time.
Yeah, it's actually super easy, and but anyway, that's the thing I deal with over the course of every hour of every day. So that
was like a Goofus and Gallant, like here's how not to do it, here's how to do it.
Yeah,
we've all grown.
Okie dokie. I may have to watch the new Godzilla just for contrast. But anyway, not important. Austin,
I got a quick question, Leon.
sure.
If I stop patronizing you and then start again, do I get to ask for another one?
Absolutely, no, actually, it's one per customer forever.
Okay.
Because otherwise it would just I would just be doing nothing but.
What if I donate back again at a higher tier?
Oh God. We'll talk later. But yeah, I look, I do a lot for money. Because I want Renegade Cut to be my only job, so I don't have to do the other job where I'm talking to people at a church to the point that I get so angry that my flatulence is my only vengeance.
All right. Further updates as the situation develops, everybody. Austin, more questions for the young man.
I want this episode to be called my my flatulence vengeance. Ilmari Walker asks me to talk about the secret gospel of Mark.
Yeah.
Do you guys know what that is?
No. I should, because I think I've heard of it, but I don't remember what it is, and that's a shame. So, but you almost certainly know way more.
This isn't the apocryphal text, is it?
Yes, it is. So yeah.
Okay, yeah, I do know about the secret gospel.
If it's a secret gospel of Mark, it has to be an apocryphal text, because the only gospel of Mark that's in the canon is the gospel of Mark.
I did not know, okay?
No, I don't know either. I'm just using
Maybe it's a boy band called the Secret Gospel of Mark, and they're all named Mark.
Oh, okay.
That is exactly what I would name an all Mark boy band. But so crash course. The Bible is not a book. It's a collection of books written over a long time by many different people. And
that have been translated several times over.
Yes. And when you go to the store and buy a Bible, what the collection you're getting is one based on the sect, the kind of Christianity or Judaism or Islam that you're talking about. And they're all different. And if you've read the Da Vinci Code, there was a big meeting where the main canon was decided. The ones that didn't make that cut are called the apocrypha. There's a bunch of them. Some of them aren't considered canon because they conflict with canon sources. Some are considered not canon because we think they're fake. There's a bunch of different reasons.
Judas.
Yes, Judas and Mary Magdalene are probably the two most famous ones. Secret Gospel of Mark is a rather recent one. It has a lot to do with Gnosticism, which I could do an entire other podcast on. It's one of my favorite subjects.
Oh, Jesus Christ, the Gnostics?
Yeah, the Gnostics are super dope. If you ever played Xenogears or Xenosaga, those are Gnosticism, the video games. So I don't even know where to start with that, except to say you should just Google Gnosticism, like GNO. The rest of that word, not STICISM.
I had to Google Gnosticism a while back to do a thing for an episode. It is weird, but also kind of cool.
It's super cool. So back in the day, right? The shortest history lesson I can give you possible. Judaism was the main monotheistic religion. Most cultures had polytheistic. They had a god for this, a god for that, a god for this. Jewish people had God, Elohim, he was the God. And then we got Christianity from that, but it wasn't a simple transition. There was actually a lot of cults and a lot of offshoots. Christianity was just the one that won in essence. Gnosticism was another one, and a lot of what Gnosticism.
Yeah. Way to go, Lutherans.
One of the defining features of Gnosticism are the demiurge, which is the idea that the God that we all think of as God is not the creator deity. It's kind of an aspect. Some people say an insane aspect of the creator deity. That's a lot of
my favorite interpretation is the petulant child.
Yeah, he's not a good dude. That's why a lot of JRPGs end with you fighting quote unquote God. It's kind of from that school of thought. Japan is really into Gnosticism. The other idea is gnosis, or knowledge, which is that it's almost like a Buddhist or Zen kind of thing, that we're all part of this sinful earth and we need to cleanse ourselves and become more knowledgeable. To true holiness comes through knowledge. And there's a bunch of other stuff. I won't nitty gritty details, but the Secret Gospel of Mark has a lot of Gnostic hallmarks, and it is part of the reason that most people think it's fake. I think we also lost the original thing we found. We've actually found. Yeah, there's actually a lot of books we found earlier versions of that are different than the current versions we've had. Even canon texts, which I always think is interesting because these are when you go to the store and buy a Bible, you're not getting the original. You're not even getting close to. It's a translation of a misprint of a knockoff of a bootleg. So the evolution of those texts is super
of a heavily edited group of people who wrote it decades after the fact.
Yeah,
and use the Coles notes.
My favorite parts in the Bible is where it cites its sources. I think it was in Kings or Judges, where it's like, if you want to check these facts, go to the library in this city, and it'll back me up or something. It's really good. There's a bunch of those things.
Just ask Dave. He knows all about it.
Dave can back me up. But yeah, I can talk about this.
Solid, son.
Austin, I feel like when you said Judaism was the monotheistic religion of the time, is a huge slam on Zoroastrianism.
Well, okay, Zoroastrianism is actually a little bit more complicated like that. Yes, Ahura Mazda is like the dude, but he's not the only dude. It's a little different than that. That's Freddie Mercury is probably where most people learned of Zoroastrianism, because he was, from that. He's Zoroastrian as much as anyone practices that in the modern day. It's from Persia, Iran, that area. That's a super interesting thing too. But I don't have time. I'm sorry, I've already eaten up like 5 minutes.
So the moral of the story is that Leon, Austin, and myself are going to be changing our names to Mark, and you can expect our mixtape to drop next year, and son, it's gonna be divine.
That's the name of the album. Secret Gospel of Mark's first album, Divine.
Yeah.
So I have more questions, but Leon, do you want to hit
exclusively on Tidal?
Okay. Let's see. All right. Someone is talking about Doug Walker's recent video about fair use. I have not seen it, so I can't speak to it. It's like 20 minutes long.
I'm a busy man.
I have things to do. I like some of Doug's work. Next. Elbow Patches says Bernie Sanders, Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump, fuck, marry, or kill. Kill Trump, marry Clinton, fuck Sanders.
That's morbid. Those are real people.
I'm saying that I would make sweet love to Bernie Sanders, and then I would, in a very, romantic way, propose to Hillary Clinton. But, my questions are always weird. Someone gave me a question that spoils Life is Strange. Thanks.
Oops.
Oh, the same person who asked about fuck, marry, or kill says, what is the most significant event you have ever witnessed or has happened to you personally? There's no way I'm going to do that.
I mean, like, what does that mean, personally witnessed? Like, on TV? Like, I was alive during 9/11. Like,
yeah, there's a big difference between the most significant event and, like, the most important. Because there have been some very important things that have happened to me that are totally insignificant.
Right. Well, what I think Elbow Patches means is, what's the most important thing that's ever happened to you in your life? I don't know. I don't feel like doing that.
I was born.
Yeah. Yeah. Everything else has been down.
Without that, I'd be nowhere.
Right.
And you know what? I don't remember much about it. It's all pretty hazy.
Phoenix says, is there any movies or TV shows from your childhood that you remember fondly, regardless of quality? Krull.
Wait, TV shows?
Or movies.
Oh, I mean, Power Rangers, Pokemon, Digimon. That was my era when I grew up. None of them are good.
Rocket Robin Hood.
That doesn't sound like a real thing.
It's a real goddamn thing.
To explain what my questions are like, in response to me asking for word fun questions, Max the Silva just sent me a picture of a dog.
They're actively trolling you. That's what this is. You've antagonized them, and now they're trolling you.
Right. My questions are always weird, and I either answer them and regret it, like the fuck, marry, kill one, or they're just stuff I can't possibly answer.
So everyone gives me good ones. I guess that's the idea now.
Yeah,
it's coordinated offsite.
Right. Josephina says, which of your Word Fun co-hosts would you like to have as a house cat or as a muffin?
What the fuck? If they're a
Is
muffin,
that
I'm...
like a literal muffin?
Yeah, like to eat.
That's not... So which one of our friends would we curse to an existence as a muffin?
Right.
That's the worst.
Um,
So definitely cat. And I mean, either one of you. Which one of you wants to be a cat more? I feel like that might actually be an improvement.
I'm sorry, I'm tripping over the wording of this question particularly because it's which one would you like to have as a cat or a muffin?
right. You have to make someone something else, and you get to pick which one of those two things it is.
I'm sorry, it's just the way it's worded. It sounds like you could pick one person and then choose that they're either a cat or a muffin.
Yeah.
The syntax is ambiguous, but listen, Johnny, you're gonna be a cat. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's okay. I think I can do a pretty good nonverbal go fuck yourself. So I think I'd be all right as a cat.
But cats don't have to work. It's an upgrade.
A bunch of these questions are about video games, so I don't want to. Fine. All right. Here's one video game question. What do you think of Ages of Empires 1, Red Alert 2, and Heroes 3 of Might and Magic?
Real-time strategy games are too hard for Austin. They make my brain meat hurt.
Heroes of Might and Magic 3 is the best one in the series. Age of Empires 1 is not the best in the series. And what was the other one? Red Alert 2?
Yep.
Man, Command & Conquer is fucking ridiculous, and it hasn't aged well. But the Red Alert series is amazing and hilarious.
I prefer my strategy turn-based. Speaking of which, Fire Emblem comes out on Friday, so if this is the last time any of you hear from me, I starved to death playing Fire Emblem Fates.
Yeah, but Austin, Command & Conquer Red Alert 1 starts with Albert Einstein traveling back in time to kill Hitler.
Yeah.
And that's just like the opening cutscene.
That was like their whole thing. That was like their claim to fame was like their wacky cutscenes and stuff, right?
I know, but this was when everybody was taking it seriously because it like all of the FMV was still in interlace. Like they hadn't figured out.
It wasn't good. the visuals. I mean, I liked it, but yeah, it was weird. Okay, is there any other things we want to talk about?
I'm sorry, that's weird that somebody would ask you that, Leon.
Look, I know. I told you. Anything you guys want to say before we go? I had another story about getting into an argument with a deaf person, but I'm not going to do that.
Jeez, that sounds dark.
Yeah. I was in the right, and that's the...
Can you tell me what the argument was about?
No. Because it would give away what I do during the day. It was about business.
I had two questions from people who both asked about Nier. They both have Gunter from Adventure Time as their avatar, so I don't know if they coordinated it or it's a crazy coincidence. Nier is a game both of you should play. I know it's only on PS3 and Xbox 360, so only Leon has ready access to it, but you guys should play Nier. There's a new one coming out. Yeah. And then Brent asks, why does Fallout 4 feel like such a hollow experience? That's because it's not an RPG. It's like an early access survival thing masquerading as Fallout. And if you go in expecting it to be something else, you're going to be real sad. Sorry.
Because Bethesda doesn't know how to make RPGs anymore.
Or they do, but there's just not as much money in it.
Yeah, that might be the case as well.
Leon?
Yo.
This is our longest episode. I feel like you would have kicked us from this call before. Like, how did you let this happen? You let this get out of hand.
Yeah.
I'm having fun.
Yeah, a lot of this is going to be cut. I mean, let's face it.
Wait, what? We haven't said anything, like, super awful.
Yeah, but literally everything I've said has just been, like, garbage for the past hour and a half. So we'll see how... Basically, if you're listening to this and you still have any respect for me, that means that I cut a lot of stuff. So...
Look how long is this episode, listener? If it's not an hour and 35, then minus that from what it is. That's how much he cut.
Well, a lot of cuts are just pauses.
And also the incredibly offensive things I say.
Yeah.
I think we just have like an Audacity filter for Johnny racial slurs. It just catches them automatically now.
Oh my. All right. I have to go. I'm going to MagFest, everybody. That's why this episode is coming out late. Sorry. But with the exception of Johnny and Austin, everyone in the world that I love is going to be in one hotel for a few days, and I get to spend time with my friends, and we almost never get to.
It is just going to be a raucous fuck fest.
Everyone always makes this joke like the Magfest orgy happens every year, but it doesn't actually exist as far as I know.
That's because me and
Leon, all I'm saying is
Yeah.
bring the vegetable oil.
That's just because me and Johnny don't go.
No.
The orgy don't start till we walk in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This will actually be my least romantic Magfest ever, as I am rooming with someone for the first time who is also not a romantic partner. So this is just me hanging out with my friends. So that'll be fun. And that's it. Any last words?
Yep. In the words of a great philosopher, chaos is found in greatest abundance wherever order is being sought. And it will always defeat order because it is better organized.
I'm going to marry a fox dude in Fire Emblem. Peace.
All right.
I'm going to go bang that fox dude.